What's going on, guys? This week we're back on the 59 Catalina. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. We're getting real close to 1,000 subs. Anyways, this week I would really like to get this thing to run in the car. We're gonna try again. At least that's what I'm gonna start this video with the intentions of doing. We'll see how far we get. Anyways, I've got this harness over here that I ordered from somewhere online. It's just a cheapo one. I've kind of got an idea of how to wire it up. If you're new here, when I bought this car originally, I didn't realize it, but somebody had cut the fuse box out of it in the 40 years that it sat. So all of the wiring is still in the car. It's just they chopped the harness right at the factory fuse box. So apparently somebody needed that at some point in time. So we're gonna have to fix all that. I've kind of sorted through the wiring in the car a little bit and kind of messed with it. I've found the headlight wires and the tail light wires and little stuff like that, but I've not really dug too far into it. But we got a long way to go with the wiring, and there ain't nothing to it but to just jump in here and get after it. As far as I can tell, we just got to mount this thing. It's got a ground. Every wire on here is labeled. We got to run one to the battery. I don't remember if it's the yellow or the red. And then we just kind of hook it up to the car. When I bought this thing also, I didn't get any keys with it. I took the ignition switch up to the local locksmith here in town, and they were able to make me a key for it. So hopefully the insides of this thing are still good, because I do plan to use it. So we need to get that back installed. You get the wires hooked up to it. It's going to be a long journey. I'm not a big wiring fan, but it's got to be done. I'm trying to get this thing on the road. So I'm going to hop inside this thing. We're going to find somewhere to mount this, untangle this mess of wires, and just start running them to where they need to go, figuring stuff out. So I'm gonna hop in here. We'll try to get this thing mounted. Alright guys, I ain't gonna lie, I haven't filmed any, and I've actually got pretty far on this. I'm not the guy for wiring, so I shouldn't be telling people how to do wiring. But anyways, I'll walk you through what we've got done so far. I got battery cables ran. The negative, I just run it straight over to the block. The positive runs down underneath over to the starter. I took this header off so it's easier to reach. The other two wires are on there as well. Those run up the back into this loom across. I've got the alternator wired as well. They have their own loom, runs up, joins together. And I've got the fuse box mounted, and I've also got the ignition switch back in the dash. Now, I know this looks bad, but hear me out. This here is the new stuff. This is for headlights, tail lights, wipers, gauge lights, all that good stuff. This mess here is where, well, minus the light bulbs, is what used to go to the old fuse box. Anyways, I went ahead and just ran my own wires over to the ignition switch and just did away with the factory stuff. I'm gonna try to use the taillight wiring, the headlight wiring. I got to make my own harness for the wiper motor, because that's gone out of the car too, along with the fuse box. But anyways, now the key is back in it, and if you listen, the fuse box comes on with the key, and also we might have to hook the battery up. But anyways, I did get it to crank. The motor is completely wired up, and it should run if we would put fuel in it and some plugs and plug wires and little stuff like that. But actually, I'm not sure why it didn't crank over. Everything is hooked up. Anyways, yeah, I think next we get the plugs in here, plug wires. We'll get the hoses ran. This hose here is off of a what did I order this for? I think I ordered it for 85 Chevy Caprice. With a little bit of trimming, I can make this work. We're going to trim down the back a little, and then we'll trim this off, and that's actually going to work just fine. I'm still waiting on the lower hose to show up. I ordered it for the same thing. It should be really close. We just might have to trim it down a little bit. I still got this header back on here, but also we need to get the gas tank in this thing and get a whole new fuel line ran up here. But we're just going to keep on moving, keep on plugging away at the little stuff. We're not that far off from hearing it run inside the car though. And then we got to do the terrible task of making a complete exhaust for this. Like I said, that is, I despise doing exhaust. Worse than wiring. But this wasn't that bad, and honestly I don't think it looks that bad. It's just the one wire loom there, and then this one cable. I still need to wire loom this up, but we're getting there. Just gonna keep on moving. So I think next we're gonna get the plug wires, plugs, all that in here. Then we'll move on to the hoses, and then we'll jump back and start fabbing on that tank, because it's not a bolt-in operation either. I can show you what I'm talking about with that. I had to order one for a 59 Impala because they don't make them for this car. This is it in the box, and if you look, I know it looks a little off-center, but it's not. This comes out straight. Well, in the Catalina, it actually comes out at an angle, so my plan is to cut that off. We'll get a piece of rubber and run it up through the channel inside the trunk, because it has its own little like steel neck housing, I guess you could call it, inside there. But anyways, I'm going to get on getting these plugs in, plug wires, and then we'll jump on the hoses. Okay, it's a couple days later. I had some stuff come up, and I may have went and bought the next project, but anyways, we'll worry about that later. Keep an eye out for it though. But anyways, instead of doing the plugs and plug wires, it would probably be smarter to work on the exhaust, since I'm probably going to have to pull this on and off a bunch, and we'll probably end up snapping off one of the plugs in the process. What I've got done so far is I went to the local muffler shop, and I had these made. It's a bubble flare to a 2.5. That way they will go on this style header. I just got some random bolts in here, and I've already kind of cocked it a little bit this way, because we have to go under the frame, basically at the back of the inner fender. This is an X-frame car, so even from factory they went directly under the frame from the manifold, and we need it as far forward as we can get. That way when I air this thing out, it doesn't smash the exhaust. So we're aiming for where the frame dives down to go under the firewall. We need to be in front of that actually. So these are already kind of too far back, so we're gonna have to aim it a little bit forward and then shoot underneath the frame. Like I said, I bought an exhaust kit that just comes with a bunch of different bends, so it's gonna be a lot of cutting, fitting, taking off, putting it on, tacking, and getting it just right. I only want enough on here right now to get the mufflers on, and those on these cars go right underneath the front floorboard, so we don't have that much to build. I just want it to be quieter than open header, that way we ain't making the neighbors too mad when we get this thing running. But I'm gonna get this bolted back on. I'm gonna drag out the kit that I bought and just start fitting up pieces and see what we can't make fit on here. Okay, so this is the kit that I ordered. I actually ordered two of these. It just comes with some straights, 90s, 45s, and some 180s. It's 2.5 with flares on the end, so it's slipped together. It makes it a little easier. Highly recommended if you're going to do an exhaust. Makes it a little easier than just trying to butt weld everything together. But anyways, I've kind of got some progress made over here already. I'll kind of explain to you what I've done. We started with this at the header. This is flared to fit over top of 2.5-inch exhaust. I don't know how much you can see. Like I said, we had to go back forward. So there's a 45, one of the 90s. It goes under to another 90, and then to the muffler. I'll crawl underneath here and show you a little closer. Okay, so like I was saying, this here is the piece that I had made. We just got the corner of a 45, and then a 90, and then over here. So this is the last 90, and that 90s again goes to the muffler, and then we're gonna quit here. It's above the frame, and once I get a hanger on it, it'll be just a little bit higher. Like I said, that way when we air it out, it should clear the frame. You can see here where the frame goes uphill. It's gonna be close, but it should clear. If it touches a little bit, that's all right. We're just trying to keep it from completely smashing it. So I'm gonna keep going back this way, maybe. I'm gonna get the other side caught up to here first, and then I'll decide, because I hate laying on my back and welding, and this isn't helping. So I'm gonna go get the other side caught up to this, and then we'll see what I wanna do after that. Alright guys, these are done. We're going to let them sit here and cool off, and I still need to go get some the right bolts for these. But anyways, those are done enough. We got mufflers on them, and it'll be quiet enough to where the neighbor won't completely hate me when I start this thing inside. But we're going to jump back up front here. I got to get this thing down off the stands, and I think we're going to start with, I got to pull this distributor back out. I forgot to put the gasket underneath it there, so we're going to pop that out, and then we'll get the plugs in it. We'll get the plug wires, and we got hoses to do. I showed this one earlier. I do have to trim it down just a little bit to make it work, and then the lower one, it's not going to work, so I'm going to go back to the parts store and see if I can find something a little bit better than that one before I hack that one up and waste money. But I'm gonna get this thing off the stands, and we'll get the yanking this distributor out of here. All right, let's get this out of here. Man, I really need to go pick up a new felder. Excuse me. All right, so I did put this thing in time when I sat this distributor in here. I have whirled it around a few times, so we're just gonna pull it out, put it right back in the same way, with the rotor pointing the same direction that it came out of. And get this clip off here, and then we will pull this cap out, out, whatever you want to call it. Oh, is our screwdriver gonna fit? Maybe not. But anyways, get our power wire that I ran out. Alright, the clip's off, you can pull this off. Oh, wouldn't you know it, it's actually pointed really close to top dead center. But anyways, man. Alright, get that out of the way. And then grab our gasket. This here's the little gasket you should be putting underneath of these. We're pointed literally right over here. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but I'm just gonna wiggle this out. Take our gasket, slide it on, drip oil all over our brand new valve covers, and just drop it right back in. And it should, in theory, nope. Dang it. It did move the tooth. Or not the tooth. Oh no, we're one off still. A little bit further. crazy how far one tooth is different. Being one tooth different changes the angle so much. Come on. Wonder if we can wiggle the motor over a little bit. Probably not. Anyways, I'm gonna get this to drop in here, put this all back together, and then we're gonna jump over to the hose, get those trimmed up. Need to throw the thermostat in here real quick, and then we'll jump onto plugs and plug wires. All right, I got that all back together, and it's snugged up enough to where I can still turn it, but it's not gonna just spin out of control. I'm gonna get this thermostat in here. I didn't have it at the time that I got this. So I just threw it on there without it. Anyways, I got a 160 just to keep it cool. I do plan on driving this a lot, and I'd rather it just stay cool. So this thing, we'll see how it works. It's just got a rubber O-ring here. I don't know if I trust it, but I mean, it's got to be good. It's from Amazon, right? But we'll snug this back down, and then we will start trimming that hose to fit. All right, as far as this hose, pull this plug out of here. I think I figured out that you put this on here like this, it should work out pretty good. So we're gonna just take little bites at a time and slowly start trimming this thing to fit. It's pretty simple. Like I said, this is for a 85 Caprice. Got a different knife before I cut my finger off, which I probably still will with this one. Oh, much better. We're just going to take off like a 1/2 inch off of this and try it again. Man, this is sketchy. Don't watch. Alright, that side's trimmed down. Should fit on there just like that. And this side, let's see. How did I have that? I think it was just like that. So we'll cut this right here at this bend and try again. Sorry, I had to turn the camera off. You guys watching me makes me nervous. I feel like my boss is over my shoulder watching me. Alright, another chunk cut off. Let's try it again. Big end over here. We're going to have to stretch that a bit to get the fit on there. Come on. Get on there. Anyways, this is going to work just fine. Let's jump on to putting these plug wires in here. Okay guys, it's the next day. It's actually the day before this video goes up, so we're kind of rushing through this to get everything done. I got the upper hose on there. I went and picked up a different lower hose. That's gonna work. I'm not extremely happy with it, but it will work for now. Other things we got to worry about. This number 8 plug is definitely gonna melt through on this header, so we're gonna have to get what are they called? Header style plugs. They're shorter for more clearance, but it'll work for today. What else we got done? Oh, this side over here looks like they're all gonna clear. I got all of these plugs in here as well. We still got to do valve cover gaskets. I still got to throw the exhaust back on. We'll get this thing topped up with coolant. I'm gonna throw some trans fluid in here, and then we're just gonna try it and see what happens. And maybe it'll even spin the tire if the transmission is good, which it should be. The trans lines are just looped right now, so that'll be fine for now. And I got one more piece of the old floor. I don't know if you can see it. When I was cutting out the floor to put in the new panel, there's a spot weld stuck here, so I said I'd cut that off. But everything's going good so far. Oh, and these valve covers. They run into the intake right here, so I'm gonna have to trim them a little, but that's no big deal. So I'm just gonna get after this, get it knocked out real quick because it's already kind of late, and I don't want to make the neighbors too mad with starting it too late. We're just gonna run it off of a gas tank hose on the floor. So I'm just gonna keep going after it. I'll probably set you guys up on a time lapse and just knock most of this out. And I'll come back when it's time to try to crank this thing over, I guess. Alright guys, it's been like 2 hours and I think we're pretty much ready to go. We got the plugs in, plug wires in, the exhaust is on. The old, or the newer valve covers, I just switched back to the old ones because I didn't want to rush cutting the notches in them and mess them up. So we're just going to run those for now. We got the fuel line, just ran into a 5-gallon jug. Ran the fuel line up to the carburetor. Still got to put some water in it. And this carburetor could be a hit or miss. I bought it off Marketplace. I've never heard it run. The guy said it worked. You know how that goes. But we did put an oil change in it as well. I did make sure all of the vacuum ports on the carburetor are blocked off. We swapped out the heater core necks with some plugs. Yeah, we should be almost ready to go. I'm gonna get Kyle in the car, hit the key, see if we can get some fuel up to it, see if we can't get it running. Oh, we did put some transmission fluid in it too. We got the back of the car jacked up off the ground. We're gonna try to put it in gear if we can get it going. See how the trans works. Hopefully that works fine. But yeah, I think it's time to hit the key on this thing and see what happens. All right, we got water in there. A little bit of fuel. Kyle's inside. We're gonna see what happens. Give her. That does not sound good. Go ahead. Go ahead. All right. Yeah. We got fuel now. All right. Did we lose spark? Oh, we are extremely flooded. This carburetor is mint condition. Need my adjuster. It's only leaking everywhere. Sure, go ahead. It really sounds like something is beating off of the oil pan. We're gonna have to do something with this carburetor because it is just drowning everything. 1 second. Alright, so instead of fighting with that carburetor, we swapped it out with a Elder broken. And I had said that something sounded like it was hitting the oil pan. Well, that's true. There was a dent in the oil pan and I fixed it with this. So we're good to go now. Kyle's gonna crank it. We're gonna see what happens. We gotta get fuel first. Go ahead. Oh, nope. Slide intermission. Man, I hope it don't catch on fire. Let me stop this fuel up real quick. Give her. One second. All right. Hold on, let me see if we're getting fuel. All right, we got fuel. Go ahead. Come on, you know you want it. It's just flooded. Go ahead. Go ahead. Fireball. Hold on. Did it go out? Oh, I got some of my hairs. Let me try that. Go ahead. Holy Jeebus! It's really flooded. Go out. Try back a little. All right, go ahead. Go ahead. Pressure. I'm getting hit in the face with water. Just gonna idle? All right. Let me turn her up just a little. You see all the blow by?
Yeah. That's great. It actually sounds pretty good.
Let me put the microphone down there so you can hear it. Sounds good. Let me get the camera. All right, so there is slight blow by. I can't believe it's just idling. Where's the oil gauge? Got almost 40. She's alive. Finally. This is awesome. Alright, she's been running for a little bit, but definitely have some blow by. It might come back from that. She's a little smoky, but then again, this thing's been sitting for 15 years, so can't blame it too much. It does sound really good though. Hey! We're gonna have Kyle come in here and try to put it in gear and see what happens. Just put it in reverse. Nothing. Is that tire spinning over there? Try neutral. Do drive. Nothing? Alright, we'll have to check through the fluid, but that's no big deal. I still can't believe it's just sitting here idling. That is awesome. We're gonna shut this thing down. I'm gonna check the fluid real quick first, and then we'll be right back. Alright guys, well, she runs pretty good. Does still have a misfire and some blow by, but like I said, this thing sat for 15 years. We did do a will it run on it on the floor, but I only had it running for a few seconds. I knew it had blow by then, and I was okay with putting it in here. It just needs to get some heat in it, and probably just has a stuck ring from sitting for so long. I have full confidence that it's going to come right back around and be just fine. I just need to get it outside and let it sit here and run, get some heat in it, and I do believe that it's going to be just fine. But we did have a few little hiccups. When we went to shut it off, the key wouldn't shut it off, and I've wired several of these motors, and I've never had an issue like that. What I ended up finding out is this little pigtail here that I bought off of Scamazon. The wires in it were actually backwards, and I didn't realize it, and it was backfeeding into the harness that I made and giving the distributor power even after the key was off. Not sure what that was about, but we got that figured out. It starts up, shuts off with the key. We did try to put it in gear one more time after I put some fluid in it, and it started to spin the rear wheels a little bit in reverse. It's still way low, so we're going to get way more fluid in it than what's in it. But yeah, I am extremely excited. It runs, finally. After 40 years, it finally has a heartbeat again. Literally has a heartbeat. For you Chevy guys, you know what I'm talking about. But anyways, I think next video, we're going to start with the gas tank, get that in there and get it plumbed up. That way we ain't running off of a can. We might do some, might start tackling the interior. We still got to do brakes, still got to do steering because it's extremely loose, and finding parts for that is like pulling hen's teeth. But we're on the right track and it's going really well. But if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. We do this every week. I upload every Thursday at 4 o'clock. But it is Wednesday night. This video goes out in the morning. It's late and I'm just out of time. So I do appreciate you guys watching. Leave a comment down below what you think. I was really nervous when it started knocking like that. I thought that something had happened, but a little bit of body work on the oil pan there and she came back around. But let me know what you guys want to see, what you'd like to see me do with this thing. I do appreciate you guys watching, and as always, I'll catch you on the next one.